My beloved child, I know what you have been carrying. I know the weight that settles on your chest when the room becomes quiet. I know the memories that return without invitation. I know the conversations you replay, the choices you wish you could undo, the opportunities you believe you ruined with your own hands. I know how many times you have looked at your life and whispered, "If only I had done things differently." You have learned how to smile while hiding disappointment. You have learned how to keep moving while carrying regret. There are moments when you look around at others and wonder why their lives seem to move forward, while yours feels trapped in a chapter you cannot leave behind. You tell yourself that you should be over it by now. You tell yourself that stronger people would have recovered already. But I see what others do not see. I see the tears that never reached your eyes. I see the prayers you stopped praying because you felt ashamed to ask me for help again. I see the part of your heart that is exhausted from trying to prove that you are still worthy after what happened. And before you say another word, before you defend yourself or condemn yourself, I want you to hear me clearly. I have not turned away from you. My eyes are not fixed on your worst moment. My love is not measured by your performance. My presence has not left because you stumbled. Even now, while you sit with questions and regrets, I am nearer than you realize, just as I promised. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit, as written in Psalm 34:18. You feel crushed, my child, not only because of what happened, but because of what you believe it says about you. You think the failure defines you. You think the mistake revealed something permanent about your worth. You think the closed door, the broken relationship, the lost opportunity, the financial collapse, the poor decision, the moment of weakness, or the season of wandering has become your identity. You have started speaking about yourself through the language of defeat. You introduce yourself to your own thoughts as the person who failed, the person who messed up, the person who should have known better, the person who had a chance and lost it. But that is not that is not how I speak about you. My child, there is a difference between what happened to you and who you are. There is a difference between a chapter and a story. There is a difference between a wound and an identity. Yet the enemy has worked tirelessly to convince you otherwise. He takes one painful moment and stretches it across your entire future. He takes one mistake and uses it as evidence against every good thing I want to do in your life. He whispers that because you failed once, you will fail again. Because you fell, you will always fall. Because you made a poor choice, you are a poor person. And little by little, you began to believe him. You stopped expecting good things. You stopped dreaming freely. You stopped bringing certain desires before me because disappointment convinced you that hope was dangerous. My beloved, this is the hidden pain you have been carrying. It is not merely regret. It is the belief that your failure has disqualified you from the life I intended for you. That belief is hurting you far more than the event itself. I know how often you revisit the scene. You examine every detail. You search for the exact moment everything went wrong. You imagine alternate outcomes. You build entire worlds from the words, what if? What if I had stayed? What if I had left sooner? What if I had spoken up? What if I had remained silent? What if I had trusted differently? What if I had been wiser? The questions never end because regret has no finish line. It keeps demanding more attention while giving no peace in return. And while your mind has been looking backward, your heart has become weary, very weary. Some days you do not even recognize it. You call it tiredness. You call it stress. You call it burnout. But beneath those feelings is something deeper. There is grief over the version of your life you thought would exist by now. You imagine different outcomes. You imagine different timing. You imagine different results. And because reality did not match expectation, shame quietly moved into places where hope once lived. My child, I understand this pain more than you realize. I saw it in Peter after he denied knowing me. I saw it in David after his terrible failures. I saw it in Elijah when exhaustion convinced him that his story was over. I saw it in Jonah after rebellion. I saw it in countless men and women who believed they had ruined everything. Yet their failures were never the final sentence. The world often judges people by their lowest moment. It freezes them in time and labels them accordingly. But I am not like the world. I see beginnings hidden inside endings. I see seeds hidden inside broken ground. I see restoration where others see ruin. When Elijah sat beneath the broom tree, believing he was finished, I did not meet him with condemnation. I met him with care. I strengthened him. I spoke to him gently. Then I revealed that his story was not ending at all, as seen in 1 Kings 19. That is my heart toward you. You expect me to arrive with accusation, but I come with understanding. You expect me to point toward your failure, but I point toward your future. You expect me to remind you of what went wrong, but I remind you of who I am. My child, some of you listening have made mistakes that genuinely hurt people. Some of you carry deep regret because your actions had consequences. Others carry shame over things that were not entirely your fault. Still others feel like failures simply because life did not unfold according to plan. Different stories, different circumstances, yet the same burden. The burden of believing that what happened has permanently reduced your value. Hear me carefully. Your worth has never been determined by your success. If success created your value, then failure could destroy it. But your value was established long before your accomplishments. It was established because you were created by my hands, known by my heart, and loved by my nature. As I declared through the prophet Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb I knew you, as written in Jeremiah 1:5. Before the mistake, I knew you. Before the failure, I knew you. Before the disappointment, I knew you. And I loved you then exactly as I love you now. You have been trying to earn back something that was never taken away. My love was not revoked. My mercy was not exhausted. My compassion was not diminished. Many of my children live as though they are standing outside a locked door, desperately trying to earn entrance back into my presence. Yet all along, the door has been open. The distance they feel is not created by me. It is created by shame. Shame says, hide. Shame says, run. Shame says, God is disappointed in you. But my voice says, come closer. My voice says, let me heal what hurts. My voice says, bring the broken pieces to me. When Adam and Eve hid in the garden, I called out to them. When Peter failed, I restored him. When the prodigal son returned, the father ran to meet him. Again and again throughout Scripture, my heart is revealed not as distant from the broken, but moving toward them. That includes you, even now, even after what happened, even after the mistakes no one else knows about, even after the opportunities you lost, even after the promises you feel you failed to protect. I am still calling your name, and I am not calling you to punishment. I am calling you to restoration. My beloved child, the story you have been telling yourself is not the whole story. You have been staring at one page and assuming the book is finished. You have mistaken a painful chapter for the final chapter. But I am the author, and I have not finished writing. What you call the end may be the very place where I begin something new. What you call failure may become the soil where wisdom grows. What you call loss may become the place where deeper strength is formed. What you call your greatest regret may become part of the testimony that helps someone else survive their darkest night. So do not close the book yet. Do not pronounce judgment over a story that is still unfolding. Do not assume that because you cannot see redemption today, redemption is not coming. I am still working. I am still speaking. I am still healing. And, my beloved child, I am not finished with you. Now I want to show you something that your pain has hidden from your sight. For so long you have been looking at yourself through the lens of disappointment. You have examined every weakness, every wrong decision, every missed opportunity. You have become skilled at finding evidence against yourself. You know how to replay your failures in detail. You know how to magnify your shortcomings. You know how to build a case for why you should remain discouraged. But you do not see yourself the way I see you. And until you understand that truth, you will continue carrying burdens I never asked you to carry. The enemy wants you to believe that your standing with me rises and falls according to your latest success or failure. He wants you to think that my love is fragile, that my patience is limited, that my grace eventually runs out. But that is not who I am. My child, if my love depended on your perfection, no one could stand before me. If my mercy depended on flawless performance, every soul would be without hope. But my relationship with you has never been built upon your ability to live perfectly. It has always been built upon my faithfulness. That is why my word declares, "There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus," as written in Romans 8:1. Notice what I said. No condemnation. Not less condemnation. Not delayed condemnation. Not condemnation after one more mistake. No condemnation. Many of my children believe this verse for others but struggle to believe it for themselves. They hear me speak forgiveness over everyone else while secretly assuming they are the exception. They believe grace applies to other wounded hearts but not their own. Yet grace was never intended only for those who feel deserving of it. Grace was created for those who desperately need it. That includes you. I know every detail of your story. I know the things that keep you awake at night. I know the moments that make you cringe when they resurface in your memory. I know the decisions you wish you could erase. And even with full knowledge of all of it, I have not withdrawn my love. Think about that for a moment. There is nothing hidden from me, nothing. The things people know about you and the things they do not know about you are equally visible before my eyes. Yet my love remains steady. My compassion remains constant. My desire to restore you remains unchanged. You are not loved because I am unaware of your failures. You are loved because love is who I am. My child, one of the greatest misunderstandings you carry is the belief that failure changes my intentions toward you. You imagine that when you stumbled, I rewrote your future in disappointment. You imagine that my plans became smaller. You imagine that my purposes became weaker. You imagine that heaven revised its expectations because of your mistakes. But hear me clearly. I am not surprised by your humanity. I am not shocked by your struggles. I am not scrambling to repair a plan that unexpectedly fell apart. Before you experienced your failure, I already knew it would happen. Before you made the mistake, I knew every detail. Before the painful chapter unfolded, I had already prepared grace sufficient to meet you there. This does not mean I desired your pain. It does not mean I celebrated your mistakes, but it does mean that your failure never caught me unprepared. I am still the God who sees the end from the beginning, and because I see what you cannot see, I know that your story is larger than your worst chapter. My beloved child, remember Joseph, sold by his brothers, betrayed by those closest to him, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. Year after year, his life looked like a collection of setbacks. If Joseph had judged his future by his circumstances, he would have concluded that his story was ruined. But I was working beneath the surface. What appeared to be rejection became preparation. What appeared to be delay became development. What appeared to be loss became positioning. And eventually Joseph discovered that what others meant for harm, I was able to use for good, as revealed in Genesis 50:20. I have not changed. I still work that way. You see fragments. I see the whole picture. You see the storm. I see the shore beyond it. You see the broken pieces. I see the masterpiece being rebuilt. The reason you feel hopeless at times is because you are trying to judge the entire story from a single chapter. But no one understands a book by reading only its hardest pages. My child, I need you to understand something deeply. Your failure may explain part of your journey, but it does not define your identity. The enemy constantly tries to reverse those two things. He wants you to treat your experience as your identity. He wants you to say, I failed, therefore I am a failure. I was rejected, therefore I am unwanted. I made a mistake, therefore I am worthless. I lost something valuable, therefore I have no future. But those conclusions are lies. A storm is not the identity of the sky. A winter is not the identity of a tree. A wound is not the identity of a person. And a failure is not the identity of my child. Who you are is determined by me, and I call you loved. I call you chosen. I call you redeemed. I call you mine. There are moments when you struggle to believe that because your emotions argue otherwise. Your feelings point toward the evidence of loss. Your memories point toward disappointment. Your circumstances seem to reinforce the accusation. But truth is not established by feelings. Truth is established by my word. And my word remains unshaken. That is why I tell you not to build your identity upon temporary emotions. Emotions are real, but they are not always reliable interpreters of reality. Some days you feel abandoned, yet I have promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. As written in Hebrews 13:5, some days you feel weak, yet my strength is made perfect in weakness. As written in 2 Corinthians 12:9. Some days you feel directionless, yet I promise to direct the paths of those who trust in me. As written in Proverbs 3:5-6. Some days you feel disqualified, yet I am the one who calls and equips those I choose. My child, there is another truth I want you to receive. Many people assume that restoration means returning to exactly what existed before. But my restoration often goes deeper than replacement. I do not merely restore circumstances. I restore hearts. I restore vision. I restore confidence. I restore intimacy with me. I restore the parts of you that pain tried to destroy. That is why I declared through the prophet Joel, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, as written in Joel 2:25. Notice what I did not say. I did not promise only to restore days. I spoke of years, years that seemed wasted, years that seemed lost, years that seemed beyond recovery, years that appeared buried beneath disappointment. Only I can restore what time appears to have stolen. Only I can redeem what looks beyond repair. Only I can bring beauty out of ashes and hope out of devastation. And that is exactly what I desire to do in your life. My beloved child, there are ashes in your story. Ashes from dreams that collapsed. Ashes from relationships that ended. Ashes from expectations that were never fulfilled. Ashes from mistakes that still make your heart ache. But I am not frightened by ashes. I specialize in resurrection. I specialize in restoration. I specialize in bringing life where others see only loss. That is why my word declares that I give beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, as written in Isaiah 61:4. You focus on the ashes, I focus on the beauty that can emerge from them. You focus on what died, I focus on what can still live. You focus on what was lost, I focus on what can still be gained. Do you see the difference? The enemy trains your eyes toward endings. I train your eyes toward redemption. The enemy points toward what cannot be changed. I point toward what can still be transformed. My child, there are things in your life that may never look exactly as they once did. Certain chapters close permanently. Certain seasons truly end. But that does not mean your future is diminished. Sometimes what I build after a loss becomes stronger than what existed before it. Sometimes the wound becomes the place where wisdom grows. Sometimes the heartbreak becomes the place where compassion deepens. Sometimes the failure becomes the very thing that teaches dependence upon me. And dependence upon me is never weakness, it is strength. Many of the people you admire in Scripture were shaped not by their victories, but by what they learned in seasons of brokenness. David learned trust in caves. Joseph learned patience in prison. Moses learned humility in the wilderness. Peter learned grace through failure. Paul learned strength through weakness. The very places that seemed least productive became holy classrooms where I prepared them for what was ahead. And I am doing the same with you. Even now, even in this season, even in the places that seem confusing, nothing is wasted in my hands. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your mistakes, not your disappointments, not even your failures. I am able to weave all of it into a story that reveals my faithfulness. That is why I want you to hold tightly to this promise. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus, as written in Philippians 1:6. Notice that I began the work, and I complete the work. Your story is not sustained by your perfection. It is sustained by my faithfulness. You may stumble, you may grow weary, you may face seasons you do not understand. But the author has not abandoned the story. The builder has not abandoned the house. The shepherd has not abandoned the sheep. And the father has not abandoned his child. My beloved, when you look at yourself, you often see what is unfinished. When I look at you, I see what I am still creating. When you see failure, I see formation. When you see an ending, I see preparation. When you see weakness, I see a place where my strength can shine. And when you see a ruined future, I see a future that is still safely held within my hands. So lift your eyes, not because everything is already resolved, not because every wound is already healed, not because every question has already been answered. Lift your eyes because I am still at work. And what I am building in your life is far from finished. My beloved child, now we must go deeper. The pain you feel is not only coming from what happened. The disappointment is real, the loss is real, the consequences may even be real. But beneath the surface of those experiences, there is a deeper wound that has been quietly shaping the way you see yourself. Many of my children believe their greatest battle is with failure. But often their greatest battle is with the meaning they have attached to failure. Somewhere along the journey, you began believing that your value depended upon your success. You may not have spoken those words aloud, but they settled into your heart like roots beneath the soil. Little by little, you learned to measure yourself by achievements, approval, productivity, recognition, or outcomes. When things went well, you felt secure. When things went poorly, you questioned your worth. And because of that, failure became more than an event. It became a verdict. The enemy loves this. He knows that if he cannot stop you from being loved by me, he will try to stop you from believing that you are loved. If he cannot separate you from my presence, he will try to convince you that you should hide from it. If he cannot destroy your identity, he will attempt to confuse it. That is why shame has been speaking so loudly. Shame does not merely say, "You made a mistake." Shame says, "You are the mistake." Shame does not merely point to what happened. It tries to become the lens through which you see everything. It follows you into new opportunities and whispers that you will fail again. It follows you into relationships and tells you that you are too damaged to be fully loved. It follows you into prayer and suggests that I must be tired of hearing from you. It follows you into moments of hope and immediately begins predicting disappointment. And after hearing those whispers long enough, you start believing they are your own thoughts. But they are not my voice. My voice convicts, but it does not condemn. My voice corrects, but it does not humiliate. My voice leads you toward healing, not hopelessness. The enemy wants you trapped in yesterday because he is afraid of what happens when you finally believe what I say about you. My child, there are wounds beneath this struggle that may reach farther back than you realize. Some of you learned very early in life that approval had to be earned. You learned to perform for acceptance. You learned to achieve in order to feel valuable. You learned to hide weakness because weakness seemed unsafe. And when failure entered your story, it struck a place that was already tender. It awakened old fears, fears of rejection, fears of abandonment, fears of not being enough, fears of being overlooked. fears that perhaps you never truly mattered. But listen carefully, beloved. Those fears were never sent by me. I did not create you to live as a servant of fear. I did not create you to spend your life trying to prove your worth. I did not create you to carry shame as though it were your identity. You have spent enough time fighting battles that I never asked you to fight. You have spent enough nights arguing with accusations that I never spoke. You have spent enough years carrying labels that I never placed upon you. Come closer now. There is something I need you to see. Look at the way I dealt with Peter. Peter promised he would never deny me. Yet when pressure came, he denied me 3 times. 3 times. The very thing he swore he would never do became the thing he did. Can you imagine the shame he felt? Can you imagine the disappointment? Can you imagine replaying those moments over and over again? Peter knew he had failed. Peter knew he had fallen short. Peter knew there were no excuses. Yet after my resurrection, I did not seek Peter in order to destroy him. I sought him in order to restore him. I called him back. I spoke to him. I entrusted him with purpose again. The failure was real, but the failure was not final. And what I did for Peter reveals my heart toward you. I am not searching for reasons to disqualify you. I am searching for ways to heal you. I am not standing over your life looking for evidence against you. I am drawing near with mercy. My beloved child, the deepest wound beneath your failure may not be the mistake itself. It may be the belief that your future died when the mistake happened. That is the lie we must confront, because it is not true. The enemy has shown you a picture of a closed door and called it the end. I am showing you an unfinished hallway. The enemy has shown you a buried seed and called it death. I am showing you a coming harvest. The enemy has shown you a storm and called it destruction. I am showing you transformation. You cannot always recognize what I am doing while you are inside the process. A seed beneath the soil appears buried, yet it is growing. A tree in winter appears lifeless, yet life remains hidden within. A field after fire appears ruined, yet new growth often emerges stronger than before. What if the season you call failure is actually preparation? What if the chapter you wanted removed is shaping something essential within you? What if the place where you feel weakest becomes the place where my strength becomes most visible? My child, this is where the shift begins. This is where the chains of shame start to break. Not because the past changes, not because the facts disappear, not because the pain was imaginary. The shift happens because you stop agreeing with the lie. You stop calling yourself what I never called you. You stop building your identity around your worst moment. You stop measuring your future by your past. And you begin believing me. This is the turning point. Not the moment circumstances change, the moment perspective changes. The moment you finally understand that my grace is greater than your failure. The moment you realize that my mercy is larger than your mistakes. The moment you recognize that your story belongs to me, not to your shame. My beloved, I want you to imagine setting down the weight you have carried for so long. Imagine no longer introducing yourself by your regrets. Imagine no longer waking up every day under the shadow of what happened. Imagine no longer needing to punish yourself for mistakes I have already covered with grace. Imagine believing that your future is still alive, because it is. The enemy has worked very hard to convince you that you must remain chained to what happened. But chains lose their power when truth enters the room. And the truth is this: you are not abandoned, you are not ruined. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not beyond redemption. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not the exception to my mercy. You are my child, my beloved child. And because you are mine, your story is not finished. The cross settled that forever. When I stretched out my arms and declared, "It is finished," I was not announcing the end of hope. I was announcing the defeat of everything that would try to separate you from my love. As my word reminds you, Nothing can separate you from the love of God in Christ Jesus, as written in Romans 8:38-39. Nothing, not your past, not your mistakes, not your failures, not your regrets, not even the things you still struggle to forgive yourself for. Nothing. So stop standing at the grave of a chapter that I have already moved beyond. Stop building a home in a season that was only meant to teach you. Stop treating a moment as though it were your identity. Lift your eyes, beloved. Lift them higher. There is more ahead than behind. There is more grace than guilt. There is more mercy than shame. There is more healing than hurt. There is more life than loss. And there is more of your story still waiting to be written. The chapter you wanted to erase may become the chapter that teaches you how faithful I truly am. The wound you wished never existed may become the place where compassion flows to others. The failure you thought ended everything may become the very evidence that I am able to redeem what seems impossible to redeem. That is who I am. I am the God who restores. I am the God who redeems. I am the God who brings light into darkness. I am the God who raises what others have given up on. And now, my child, I am asking you to take my hand, not because you have all the answers, not because you understand everything, not because every wound has healed, but because you are ready to walk forward, ready to release the verdict shame placed upon you, ready to see yourself through my eyes, ready to believe that your failure is not your final chapter, ready to trust that I am still writing a beautiful story from the pages you wanted to throw away. And beloved, what comes next will change everything. My beloved child, now that you have seen the truth, I do not want you to leave this moment unchanged. Healing begins when truth becomes something more than a comforting thought. Healing begins when truth becomes the ground upon which you choose to stand. The shame that has followed you for so long may not disappear overnight, but it does not have to remain your master. Every time it returns with its familiar accusations, you must learn to answer it with my voice instead of agreeing with its lies. When regret comes knocking at the door of your mind, do not invite it to sit at the table. Bring it to me. Speak honestly with me about what hurts. Tell me what you wish had been different. Tell me what you are afraid of. Tell me where you still feel broken. I am not intimidated by your honesty. I already know every corner of your heart, and I delight in the moments when you stop hiding and allow me to meet you there. Do not spend your days trying to rewrite yesterday. Yesterday is not where I am leading you. The enemy wants your attention fixed on what cannot be changed. I want your attention fixed on what I am creating now. As I spoke through Isaiah, forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing, as written in Isaiah 43:18-19. This does not mean pretending the past never happened. It means refusing to let the past have authority over the future I am building. So when you wake in the morning, do not begin by reviewing your failures. Begin by remembering my faithfulness. Before you rehearse what went wrong, remember what remains true. Remember that you are loved. Remember that you are mine. Remember that my mercies are new every morning, as written in Lamentations 3:22-23. Remember that I have carried you through every season that once seemed impossible, my child. Spend time in my presence not as someone trying to earn acceptance, but as someone who already belongs. There is a profound difference between those two postures. One is driven by fear. The other is rooted in love. Sit with me. Open my word. Let my promises become louder than your memories. Let my truth become stronger than your feelings. Let my voice become more familiar than the voice of shame. And as you walk forward, do not be afraid to take small steps of obedience. You have been waiting to feel completely confident before moving forward. But confidence often grows after obedience, not before it. Take the step, make the call, apply again, dream again, trust again, love again, pray again, hope again. Not because there is no risk, but because I am with you. Do not allow fear of another failure to steal the opportunities I place before you. The enemy would be content if he could not destroy your future, but could convince you never to step into it. Refuse that lie. Refuse to remain frozen by what happened yesterday. The same God who carried you through the valley will also lead you into the next season. And when you stumble again, as every human being does, remember this: your relationship with me is not sustained by perfection. It is sustained by grace. Do not run from me when you struggle. Run toward me. Do not hide when you fall. Come closer. The enemy wants every mistake to become distance. I want every weakness to become an invitation to deeper dependence upon me. My beloved child, there are people waiting on the other side of your healing. There are people who will one day find hope because of the testimony you are living now. There are hearts that will be strengthened because you discovered that failure was not the end. There are wounded souls who will see my faithfulness through your story. What you are surviving today may become the very message that helps someone else survive tomorrow. So do not despise this season. Do not despise the lessons learned through pain. Do not despise the ways I have been shaping your heart. The gold does not become pure without the fire. The roots do not become strong without the storm. And faith does not become mature without learning to trust me when circumstances make no sense. You are growing even when you cannot see it. You are healing even when it feels slow. You are moving forward even when progress seems invisible, because I am working in places your eyes cannot yet reach. And now, my beloved child, I want you to receive my declaration over your life. I am not disappointed in you. I am not keeping a record of your failures and measuring your worth against them. I am not defining you by your worst day. I see you through the finished work of my love. I see you through grace. I see you through redemption. I see you through the purpose I placed inside you before the foundations of the world. You are not what happened to you. You are not the mistakes you made. You are not the opportunities you lost. You are not the labels others placed upon you. You are not the accusations that haunt your mind. You are my child, chosen, loved, known, redeemed, called, and deeply treasured. The chapter of shame is ending. The chapter of self-condemnation is ending. The chapter of believing that your story is over is ending. A new chapter is beginning. A chapter of healing. A chapter of restoration. A chapter of renewed hope. A chapter of deeper trust. A chapter in which you finally see that I was present even in the places where you thought you were alone. Remember this truth whenever doubt returns. What you call failure, I can use for formation. What you call loss, I can use for growth. What you call ashes, I can transform into beauty. What you call the end, I can turn into a beginning. For I am the Lord who restores. I am the Lord who redeems. I am the Lord who completes what I start. And as surely as my word declares, he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion, as written in Philippians 1:6. I will be faithful to finish the work I have begun in your life. So lift your head, my beloved. Lift your eyes. Take my hand. Leave the shame behind. Leave the condemnation behind. Leave the verdict of failure behind. And walk forward with me. Your story is not over. Your purpose is not lost. Your future is not ruined. And the best chapters have not been written yet. I am with you. I have always been with you. And I will never let you go. Amen.